Ever found yourself scrolling through your phone, maybe paying a friend back for that amazing umlaut joint in Bodija, or checking your balance after a night out at Ventura Mall, and a vibrant coral-colored card catches your eye on a screenshot? Or perhaps you've overheard someone excitedly talking about their Monzo and how it's changed the way they handle their money. Maybe you've even seen those sleek, minimalist ads popping up online. But have you ever stopped to think, what exactly is a Monzo? And more fundamentally, what's in a name? We live in a world saturated with financial institutions, each vying for our attention, promising better rates, easier access, and a more seamless banking experience. From the established giants with centuries of history etched into their grand facades to the nimble digital disruptors shaking up the status quo, the landscape of finance is constantly evolving. And right there, at the forefront of this digital revolution, often sporting that distinctive, eye-catching coral hue, is Monzo. Now, you might be thinking, it's a bank, right? So, its name is probably something official, something bank-like. And you wouldn't be entirely wrong. But the story behind the name Monzo is a little more intriguing, a little more, well, digital than you might expect. It reflects the company's origins, its ethos, and its ambition to be a different kind of financial institution. Before we dive into the specifics of the name itself, let's take a quick trip back to where it all began. Picture this, it's 2015, and a group of disgruntled bankers, frustrated with the inefficiencies and lack of transparency in traditional banking, decide to take matters into their own hands. They envisioned a bank built for the internet age, a bank that was transparent, user-friendly, and genuinely focused on its customers. Their initial idea wasn't called Monzo. In fact, for a brief period, the company operated under a different name altogether, Mondo. You might have even heard whispers of this original moniker. Mondo was catchy, it sounded modern, and it hinted at a global ambition. It resonated with their initial vision of a bank without borders, accessible to everyone. So, what happened to Mondo? Why the switch to Monzo? This is where the story gets a little more complicated and ultimately more interesting. As the company started to gain traction, building a loyal following of early adopters eager for a new kind of banking experience, they ran into a bit of a snag. It turned out that the name Mondo was already in use by another company, creating potential legal hurdles and brand confusion down the line. Imagine the dilemma. You've built a brand, you've started to gain recognition, and suddenly you realize your chosen name isn't entirely yours to keep. It's a challenge that many startups face, and the way Monzo, or rather, Mondo at the time, handled it speaks volumes about their agility and their commitment to building a sustainable brand. Instead of getting bogged down in lengthy legal battles, the team made a decisive move. They decided to rebrand. This wasn't just a minor tweak, it was a fundamental shift in their public identity. But they approached it with the same innovative and community-focused spirit that defined their product. They didn't retreat into a boardroom and emerge with a new name shrouded in secrecy. Instead, they involved their growing community. They teased potential new names, they sought feedback, and they turned the rebranding process into a conversation with their users. This level of transparency and engagement was, and continues to be, a key differentiator for Monzo. And from this collaborative process, the name Monzo emerged. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. What does Monzo actually mean? Unlike some corporate names that are carefully constructed acronyms or obscure Latin phrases, Monzo doesn't have a deep, hidden etymological meaning. It wasn't pulled from an ancient dictionary or meticulously crafted to convey a specific financial concept. Instead, Monzo is, in essence, a made-up word. A neologism, if you want to get technical. It was chosen because it sounded friendly, approachable, and importantly, it was legally available. It had a certain ring to it, short, memorable, and distinctive. Some have speculated that it might be a playful twist on Mondo, retaining a subtle link to their origins while establishing a unique identity. Others have suggested that the O at the end creates a sense of completeness and roundness, reflecting the holistic approach they aim to take with their users' finances. Regardless of any potential subconscious associations, the beauty of the name Monzo lies in its simplicity and its lack of pre-existing baggage. It wasn't weighed down by historical connotations or industry jargon. It was a blank slate, ready to be imbued with the brand's values and the experiences of its users. Think about some of the most successful modern brands. Often, their names are simple, memorable, and somewhat abstract. Google, for example, is a play on a mathematical term, but its power lies in the association with search and information. Similarly, Monzo has become synonymous with a particular style of digital banking, transparent, user-friendly, and community-driven. The choice of Monzo also reflects a broader trend in the tech industry towards creating brand names that feel less corporate and more human. It's a move away from the stiff, formal language often associated with traditional financial institutions and towards a more conversational and approachable tone. Consider the other aspects of Monzo's branding: the bright coral color of their cards, the informal and engaging language they use in their communications, the emphasis on community and feedback. The name Monzo fits perfectly within this overall aesthetic. It feels modern, a little bit quirky, and definitely not your grandfather's bank. Furthermore, the fact that Monzo is a unique and somewhat unusual name has undoubtedly helped it stand out in a crowded marketplace. In a sea of banks with names that often blend together, Monzo is instantly recognizable. That vibrant coral card and the distinctive name have become powerful visual and auditory cues, helping the company build brand awareness and recall. The story of the name change from Mondo to Monzo also offers a valuable lesson for businesses of all sizes: the importance of adaptability and the power of community engagement. Instead of viewing the rebranding as a setback, Monzo turned it into an opportunity to connect even more deeply with their early users and to build a stronger, more distinctive brand identity. The name Monzo has now traveled far beyond its initial conception. It's become the identifier for a company that has significantly impacted the banking landscape, particularly in the UK and increasingly in other markets. It represents a different way of thinking about money, a more transparent and user-centric approach. So, to answer the initial question directly, Monzo Bank's name is simply Monzo. It's not an acronym, it doesn't stand for anything specific, and it wasn't derived from a historical figure or a complex financial concept. It's a made-up word that has become synonymous with a new era of digital banking. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.